I'm here at Accuracy First in Canadian Texas, and I'm sitting down with Kobe and Todd Hodnett, two of the top long-range shooting trainers in the world, and they've used every piece of equipment you can think of. So it's very, very challenging and very confusing when you're trying to buy equipment, because one bipod is $1,000 and one's $300, and you're like, I don't know what the difference is. So we've kind of pulled together a few different things: bipods, spotting scopes, rangefinders, just to give you an idea of the features you should be looking for. So I'm going to grab the camera and turn it over to the guys, and they're going to walk you through initially 4 different bipods. Not sponsored by any of these companies, just what we happen to have on hand, and hopefully it'll help you make a decision going forward. Okay?
All right, so first we're going to look at the Harris bipod. So this is one actually from LaRue, and we're going to explain some of the differences from the Harris to the LaRue. So they took this piece out of the Harris and made it a one-piece aluminum billet. So when we'd load the Harris bipod heavily on the front end like we used to teach, you could actually break this piece off and it would actually split underneath. Well, LaRue fixed that. The Harris bipod is actually really nice. It has adjustable clicks like you can see here as it goes out for extension. You can shove it back in fast and nice. This is probably one of my most favorite bipods that I use. I don't like it when I'm hunting, and the reason why is because when I fold it up, I've got this big mass of springs and weight. Something like the Atlas is a lot better, but I don't like the panning Atlas. So the panning Atlas, we actually put it on paper to test it at distance for accuracy, and the panning, you'd catch one leg that would actually grab in the grass, and as you loaded the bipod slightly, it would actually kind of torque the gun and be offline with where the bipod was. And as you shoot, you get a difference in recoil. So we found that the accuracy wasn't as good with the panning bipods as it was with the non-panning. And the owner of Atlas actually came out to the place, and I said, I love your system because it's nice and sleek. And it fits on the gun, and I can put it in my backpack, and I don't have to try to rip it out like I do with something like this because it grabs. But I said I could never use it because it pans and it's not as accurate. So I'd rather fight through some of the problems we have with the Atlas rather than fight with the accuracy of the panning Atlas. So he made me this one that actually doesn't pan. It's phenomenal. So I love this model. Does great. I tell everybody about it. It's a wonderful deal. We still use the LaRue Harris because it fixed the breaking point of the Harris bipod. It's still good. It's a little bulky when you put it in a backpack and you're trying to pull it out when you're hunting. But these are some of the baseline models that, honestly, I say it's baseline just because it's not super expensive doesn't mean it's not top of the line. So these are the two that I use on my guns most of the time. And I'll turn it over to Kobe and talk about the SkyPod. This is amazing. So we actually bought a couple of these, and I'll have Kobe talk through it. But for some of the long-range stuff, this is an amazing bipod.
Yeah, so the MDT bipods are really nice. Obviously, that right there is one of the primary issues with the SkyPod that I run into is these legs tend to catch really easily. So if you're hunting with it, they'll snag on like whatever's out there, grass, tall grass or vines or anything like that, and they just extend out, and that's quite loud. So it'd be nice if there was a locking ring, something like that in there. The other thing that I don't like about the SkyPod is I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like a rattle to it. And when these are really quite expensive, and when you pay that much money, I'd rather it not rattle and shake. But once you get down on the ground behind them, they're incredibly solid, and they're phenomenal bipods. They really, truly are. There's so much adjustability to them and how you want to position, right, at different angles. You can come in and set it out front and forward and then back, and then you can have them at all these crazy wonky angles, and it's extremely good. Yeah, it's just a really good bipod. The only real true downside is the cost to them, but you do end up getting what you pay for in the quality of the bipods and the capability of this one. It is extremely good. You've got tension capability. So we were talking earlier, just a second ago, about the panning function. With that, there is a panning feature right here. If you push this, let me push this in, and then I can't get it down. Either way, so there is capability to come in and lock the panning function of the bipod to where it doesn't pan. So that is quite nice. So you don't have to mess with that and worry about that. But if you do want it to pan, it will. And then from there, you've got tension to set up right here for your canning feature like this. So it'll come in and cant quite a good ways. But that you've got all that capability set up in the bipod. I really do like these.
And one of the negatives here for me personally is the fact that, this is how you attach it onto the weapon system, with whether it's an Arca rail or a Picatinny.
They do have a quick throw lever for these.
Yeah, and that would be the way that I advise people to go. I love the throw lever on the LaRue. Use it on the scope mounts. Use it on the bipods. Obviously, this has a quick throw lever, and this other unit does as well. Has a quick throw lever. I'm a huge fan of this because if I'm running a backpack, I'm taking this off, putting in another pouch. That way I can get my gun out and attach my bipod on very quickly. I'm not sitting there trying to get something on while I've got a shot at an animal. So when you're looking at bipods, it's not always that you have to have the most expensive one out there, and you need to understand it. It depends on the range that you're shooting. If I'm shooting, 1,500 meters, I'm probably going to run something like this, all right, in a hunting environment even. But it's not to say that we don't shoot 1,500 meter plus with these, but these are super nice. They're inexpensive. They're awesome in quality, and you can shoot, out to a mile with these. You're going to get a little bit more accuracy with this, obviously, with all the adjustability that Colby was talking about.
There is something else I did forget to add on these SkyPods from MDT. This is one setup. This is what they call the single pull. There's double pulls and triple pulls. So if you notice how far this comes out, they've got other ones where there's another leg that it continues on out if you get the double pull, and then the triple pull to where you can be effectively kneeling and shoot off them with the triple pull. They really do have a lot of adjustability. The Harris still has wonderful accuracy. I feel like, to me, when you look at spotting scopes, I always like liken the Harris bipod to like the Leopold Mark IV spotting scope. It is not the best piece of glass in the world, but it was made to do a job, and it does the job really well. It just works, and it works well, and it's priced well. It's kind of hard to beat, right? You get what you pay for with it, and it does a really good job at what it was intended to do.
Yeah, and this is kind of limited. It's 6-inch or 9-inch, and you can obviously get different sizes because we shoot a lot of long-range stuff in the prone. This is the one we use. This is the model that we use. It has real nice adjustability here on the LaRue model to where you can tighten up the tension. And guys, I don't want my gun flopping around. I want it to be something that when I set, all right, the tilt right here, I want to set it to a level that I can manipulate it. And if I let go of it, it stays there. So I really don't like a bipod that I align and get level with my scope level. And if I have any release of my hand, that it flips over. And this happens with a lot of bipods. So little things that you want to make sure of. I want to be able to set the adjustability. You can see these throw levers on these. That's what that's for. This is real nice. As long as I can adjust it and tighten it up, you don't want to get it too tight. I want to be able to very gently pull back to level, because if you don't, here's what happens. When I adjust, I may be lifting this leg up, and it's not, all of a sudden it's going to be falling down. I want this thing to where I can adjust it, get it exactly where I want it, let go of the gun, it stays directly on target, and it stays level. So adjustability on tension, elevation, obviously, as you can tell, these things are very different in height level that you can play with. It depends. Hunting, I may be in a sitting position that this one would nearly work for. If I'm in a kneeling position, it'd probably be more the SkyPod and a triple pull that would get me in a kneeling position. But it's things you got to think about. Do you have to have a high-end, expensive bipod? This is phenomenal if you're going to shoot 300 Norma, 1,500, 2,000 meters, that kind of thing. That's what we use this for. Not to say that we don't shoot those ranges with the Harris bipod or even the Atlas. We've got these on the MRADs. So it's something that you need to play with them. Think about what you're going to be doing with them, if it's long-range precision, PRS, or hunting. So just know what you're going to do with it.